night we pray, kneeling low, hear what we say. Freedom calls in every tone. Faith is built on hearts of stone. Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up, the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky, a righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down, for the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never shamed. Lift our voices to the sky, a righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down, for the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your host, Wise. Appreciate you all pulling up. I hope all is well with each and every one of you on this fine Tuesday morning. I hope you guys are blessed. God bless you all for pulling up and hanging out with me for a little bit. I won't take up too much of your time this morning, but we got a couple stories. We got a little bit to get into today. So I appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit that like button for me on the way in the building. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much, man. We got a good show today. But before we get into all of that, let me show some love to a few people in the chat real fast, and we're gonna get things moving. As always, shout out to Zephyr K9. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's going on, Lori Odyssey? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. She says, good morning, all you beautiful people. Praise the Lord for another day. And be sure to hit that like button. Let's go. Thank you, Lori. What up, Kevin Caldwell? What's going on, Marla? How you doing this morning? What's up, Hunter? How's it going this morning, brother? We got a verse out of Matthew this morning. Shout out to him. Says, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew chapter 5, verse 16, the Niv edition or Niv version. Thank you very much, man. Hunter always come through with the nice Bible verse, man. Thank you very much. Shout out to Redefine Queen. Shout out to Nelly. What up, Big Job Ford? What up, Donald Lovejoy? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here? We got Mark Galvin in the house. What up, Matthew Hatton? Appreciate you pulling up. Toy Mafia, Angela Montgomery. What's going on, sister? We got who is that? Vicky M. Ramsey, Dagny Taggart in the house. Sugar Shane Topics. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well with you, brother. What up, Amber Young? What's going on? Appreciate you pulling up. You guys getting it in the chat this morning. What up, Billy W? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Oh yeah, who else we got up in here? Oh, Playboy Billy in the building early today. Shout out to you, brother. Hope all is well. What's up, Amber Cherie? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Patsy in the building. What's going on? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Carol Reyes? Carol, you a mess. She's like, hey, why is an ARP family from shameful Chicago? Yeah, we got to talk about Chicago. That's not on my list today, but I am going to get to them. My hopes is today. We got to talk about Chicago. It's a mess up there. Brandon Johnson is a embarrassment, when it comes to being a mayor. Embarrassment. Hey, y'all thought Lori Lightfoot was bad. Brandon Johnson was like, nah, hold my beer. I got this. I got this. What's up, Insanity Darling? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. Who else we got up in here? Mark Patterson in the building. Shout out to you. Okie Angel. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Mike Stewart in the building. What's up, Leslie? How you doing this morning? Leslie Aaron in the house. Shout out to you. We got Brian Ackerman. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Corrine Easley in the building. Shout out to you. What's up, Chester? How's it going this morning, brother? We got Melissa out of Honolulu. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Shelby Dodd? We got Brett Davis in the house. Shout out to you. We got who was that? Ron the Don Smith. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Jose Ramirez in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Money B, what's going on? I sound tiny this morning. Uh-oh. And that's why. Goodness. Be at when you need her. She's supposed to let me know that is the case. Hopefully that's better. Y'all let me know. Put a one in the chat. Let me know if that sounds a little better today. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I was on my headphones and it's not that great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. A lot better. Perfect. Perfect. What's up, LJ? How you doing this morning? What's going on? Almost feel like that's like once a week that happens. Once a week that happens. Goodness gracious. No, it's definitely me, Quincy. Definitely me. But got that fixed. We got it ironed out. We got it ironed out. We got a good show to get into today. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already, man. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Let me know where you guys are watching from. City, state, country. Put that in the chat for me. Super chat, super thanks would be greatly appreciated. Y'all know we fighting an uphill battle over here on this side of things. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel financially. Shout out to Eric Plummer, supporting the channel via Cash App. Appreciate you, brother. God bless you, man. Thank you very much. What's going on, Phyllis? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Chester said it sounded like I was speaking through a tin can. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think I kind of was, when you really think about it in the grand scheme of things. That's definitely the case. But appreciate you all, man. Thank you guys very much. And normally B is supposed to catch that. Zephyr is supposed to catch that as well. Like, hey, bro, you don't sound right. All right, look at that. Laurel, Mississippi in the building. Jacksonville, Indianapolis in the house. Okay, Murfreesboro, Tennessee in the house. All right now. What up, Dark Child out of Virginia? Shout out to you. Karen Simmons. Yeah, right back at it again. Let's go. Lynn, Alabama in the building. Jurupa Valley, California in the house. Okay, all right, let's go. We got Jersey in the building. Crowley, Texas in the building. Port Richey, Florida in the building. Hey, it's only me. Washington State. People talk about Washington State. I've discussed Washington State, on the channel. But yeah, it's pretty wild out there. We got Katy, Texas in the building. H-Town. Okay, I see you. Houston, Texas in the house. All right. Okay, I see y'all. All right. We're going to get things going. Like I said, hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. I'm not sure exactly where we are with the likes. What else? Super chat, super thanks. Join the ARP family. Buy me a coffee. Link in the description box if you want to support the channel financially. Appreciate you guys. We're going to get it going, man. We're going to get it going. And without further ado, let's go.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before.
All righty, LJ, to answer your question, no, not fresh out the pack. I've had this one for a while, but like I tell you guys, man, I got tons of these. If you ever catch me out and about, more times than not, I'm gonna have a black shirt on. I'm gonna have a ball cap. Now the shorts, they're gonna change up a little bit, but it's gonna be a black t-shirt and the shorts. More times than not, if you catch me out and about, I keep it really, really simple. I don't like spending a ton of money on clothes. I just don't. And I don't like have to think about what I'm gonna wear. It's really easy. Put a black shirt on. It almost goes with anything. But let's get into President Trump. Let's get into DC, because the president is taking a bold and unprecedented step to clean up DC. And to be honest with you, it needs to be done. He's not playing around. I sure hope he brings that same energy about 30 miles north up here to Baltimore, because we could definitely use it. We can definitely use it. So I hope he brings that energy about 30 miles north as well. Come clean up Baltimore, one of the fourth most dangerous city in the country. Please come do it. Please come do it. I hope so. But DC, one of the top 5 cities in the country when it comes to homicides. That should not be the case for the nation's capital. Should not be the case, but it is. And yesterday, he declared a public safety emergency in our nation's capital and announced the deployment of hundreds of National Guard troops, roughly around 800 soldiers. They're being activated with 100 to 200 on duty at any given time. And their mission is everything from admin and logistics to boots on the ground support for law enforcement. Now, naturally, the left, they're losing their minds. DC's Democrat Mayor Muriel Bowser, she ran the MSDNC claiming that everything's fine. We know it's not fine. We know it's not fine. According to her, though, violent crime is at a 30-year low, down 26% in the past year, and there's no need for federal help. But is that really true? But I want you guys to hear exactly what she had to say about this. Let's get into it.
We have seen over and over from the president, from his team, Stephen Miller saying it's like Baghdad in Ethiopia. They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown. Do you see?
Well, those cities just happen to be very dangerous. Let's just keep it a buck.
See that, and what do you think that means?
I think that I have been dealing kind of with this issue for a number of years. It's kind of easy fodder on the campaign trail. But now we're talking about governing, and my job is to focus on making sure our city is running well, and people enjoy a great quality of life. And I think we're doing a really good job. We do need the federal government's help, as I mentioned, because they have an outsized influence on our criminal justice system. We need more prosecutors. We need more judges. There are other ways to help. Even we want to rebuild our jail, and there are ways that the feds can help with that. But also just doing their part, cutting the grass, fixing the fountains, making sure that federal law enforcement is doing all of the policing that they can do. And I just have to say thank you to MPS, FBI, ATF, who've always worked cooperatively with us, and we expect that they will again.
All right, so here's the problem. Here is the problem. If you actually pull up the city's crime data, which I did, you'll see plenty of crimes are, it's still pretty high out there. Yes, homicides are down from the 2023 spike. That is true. But 2024's number are still higher than many years before.
And while she paints a rosy picture, residents still see homeless encampments, trash on the streets, and in some cases, people are getting shot just walking down the block. And then there's also the fact that the DC police commander allegedly cooked the crime stats. I gotta pull this up for you guys because I want you guys to see this. I'm not going to read the article for you guys all the way through, but you can see DC commander suspended, accused of changing crime statistics. Yes, that is a thing. The police union says directives to change offense classifications came from the command staff. So in other words, this is what you call cooking the books. The current DC commander is under investigation for allegedly making changes to crime statistics in his district. This is real. If you guys remember The Wire, the show that came out at this point now 20 some odd years ago that's still relevant today. If you have not watched The Wire, I suggest you go and check it out. It is a phenomenal show, and you get a chance to see an American city. It's based on Baltimore, but you get to see it from every aspect. You get to see it from the street level criminals. You get to see it from the folks that work at the docks, criminals. You also get to see it from the police department perspective. You also get to see it through the school lens. You also get to see what's going on, from the outside looking in with the media. You get a full view of what an American city looks like, every aspect of it. Phenomenal show. If you have not watched it, you got to go check it out. You got to. Shout out to Insanity's Darling, joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. God bless you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Appreciate that. Y'all got to go check it out. Because this whole cooking the books, juking the numbers, this is a thing. This is a thing. Seriously. So, when they start talking about the numbers, the numbers were legit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And that's why this dude is under investigation. And you have Democrats in Congress, they're basically mocking the plan. They're mocking Trump's plan, calling him the real criminal because of his legal cases. And then they're trying to spin this into a conversation about mass deportations instead of the crime problem. I mean, the irony, these people are ridiculous, man. They really are. These are the same people who screamed defund the police just a couple years ago. Y'all recall that, right? They were out yelling, screaming, defund the police. And now they're suddenly concerned about law enforcement resources. But when you actually ask the people that are living in DC, a whole lot of them are glad to see more police on the streets. They want to feel safe again. And that should be a no-brainer. Honestly, it shouldn't be a controversial subject for the citizens inside of DC or any city across the country that want to feel safe. And at the end of the day, the problem in this country isn't just crime, it's accountability. If the president's plan, if the president plans forces local leaders to step up, that is a win. It's a win for the citizens in those districts, in those cities. It's a huge win.
Being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest. Intent to kill? I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the DC Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today. because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you.
Shout out to Judge Janine, yo, the firecracker. Shout out to Megan Leggett joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. Appreciate you supporting the channel. God bless you. Thank you. Shout out to Judge Janine, though. She's seen it firsthand, man. Firsthand. Packs of teenagers roaming D.C., beating people in broad daylight, attacking strangers in places like DuPont Circle. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with D.C., if you're not familiar with D.C., DuPont Circle, once upon a time, was actually a really nice area. I don't go to DC much anymore for a multitude of reasons. Some of it has to do with the crime. A lot of it has to do with the traffic. And a whole heck of a lot of it has to do with how expensive it is to park down there. So I don't really go down there too much. But DuPont Circle actually used to be a really, really nice area. It used to be. Can't really say that in this day and age. And the worst part about all of this, these young people, they know that they'll get away with it because of these weak laws, these soft judges, teenagers caught with guns, even after an attempted homicide conviction. Walk away with probation because a judge thinks that they should go to college instead of prison. College isn't for everybody. Heck, college isn't even for the kids that, college isn't for every kid that just graduates high school, more or less someone that tried to, harm someone. I mean, she ripped, Judge Janine that is, ripped the DC Council for their no cash bail, lenient sentencing, and their upside down mindset that protects criminals over citizens. Now, yesterday, President Trump delivered on his promised crime announcement, big time. Let's not sugarcoat it. DC is a lawless, liberal disaster. Tourists don't feel safe there. Residents don't feel safe there. The streets are run with roving mobs on dirt bikes, fireworks going off at all hours of the night, record high carjackings, and even White House staffers getting jumped by gangs of 10. If cops hadn't been nearby, that attack could have ended so much worse. This is the nation's capital. This is the nation's capital. It's supposed to showcase America at its best, but right now, it's one of the most dangerous cities in the country. And here's the kicker. DC is a federal district. It's not a state. It's a district, not a state. That means that the president has the power to step in, and Trump just did it. He's invoking Section 740 of the DC Home Rule Act, taking direct federal control of the Metropolitan Police and deploying the National Guard to restore law and order and safety. He's calling it Liberation Day for DC. Trump's stats, they were brutal. DC's homicide rate is higher than Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, Mexico, Lima, Peru, and Panama City, Panama. Car thefts have doubled in the past 5 years. Carjackings have tripled. And in 2023, we saw the highest homicide rate in a quarter century. The city's been overrun by gangs, addicts, a bunch of illegal immigrants, and violent offenders. And then Trump says, hey, enough's enough, man. And naturally, the liberal media, they're in full meltdown mode. They're in full meltdown mode because, Lord forbid, you try to be tough on crime. You try to crack down on crime. Lord forbid you do that and try to make the constituents in those cities safe. And our nation's capital should not be a sanctuary city. We shouldn't have any sanctuary cities, but the nation's capital should not be a sanctuary city. This is insanity.
The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such of this, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Whatever the hell they want, as if police have been not doing anything before this, Eddie. What do you make of that? Whatever the hell they want.
Chris, to be honest with you, I'm trying to hold my temper. I think there's an ongoing argument that he's having in his head with Black Lives Matter. There's an ongoing argument that he's having with the questions around criminal justice reform and police reform. It's interesting that he really doesn't really care about what's actually happening in D.C. On a certain level, because he's not trying to get at the underlying root causes. He's not looking at examples of how to address rising crime rates that doesn't require a form of policing that leads to increased incarcerality and the like. Let's look at what's going on in Baltimore. Let's look at what's happening actually in places like Baltimore and Chicago, right? So part of what we have to do is to understand. And Oakland. We have to understand this, Chris, within the context of Donald Trump's racial politics and within the context of his effort to get Epstein off the front pages. I understand David's point, but when we try to treat this as a rational response, then we lose sight of the actual politics that's being played here. And he's actually trying to give his base red meat to get them off of the Epstein story, and it's on the backs of citizens in Washington, D.C. He's going to undermine the democratic process in the district. And so I understand what David is trying to say, but we need to be clear about what Donald Trump is doing.
These people are clowns, man. These people are clowns. They should be ashamed of themselves, man. They really should. They should be ashamed of themselves. Some analysts are actually trying to spin this as a distraction from the Epstein story. So apparently, cracking down on real crime happening right now is just a way to avoid talking about Jeffrey Epstein, who's been dead, I might add, for a very long time at this point. I mean, cut it out, man. I mean, these people ignored Epstein for years. If they really wanted those files released, Biden and Harris had it. They had it for 4 years. They could have done this. And the fact that this dude invoked Black Lives Matter, who hadn't done anything for Black people other than raise millions of dollars on the backs of Black folks, but hadn't actually done anything, cut it out, man. That's why folks aren't listening to mainstream media like that. That's why people aren't really listening to anything that these daggone Democrats have to say. Their policies, they're failed. I mean, think about the cities that they brought up. They brought up D.C., well, they were talking about D.C., Chicago, and Oakland. What's in Oakland right now? Nothing. Nothing's in Oakland right now. Everything that was worth anything in Oakland moved. It's gone. Raiders left. Golden State Warriors moved to San Francisco. Like, what are we talking about? The Oakland Athletics, they are moving to Vegas. What are we talking about? I can't think of one Democrat-led city that's worth anything. They're all dangerous places with politicians and failed policies. School systems are terrible. One of my friends, he quit teaching. He was a teacher in the DC public school system. He quit teaching. He quit. He was like, hey, he had almost had a mental breakdown, suffering from anxiety from dealing with these bad kids in DC. It's ridiculous. They want to invoke Epstein. I personally don't necessarily care about the list like that. That is, if we get the names to the list, is it going to make my life better? No, it's not. And if they really cared so much about that list, why didn't it come out last year? Why didn't it come out the year before? Why didn't it come out the year before that? If they was really concerned with it, where was the uproar from the media? Where was the uproar from the mainstream media a year ago in reference to these Epstein files? And y'all not going to sit here and act like if they actually had something on President Trump in reference to those files, y'all not going to sit here and act like those files wouldn't have came out already. They did everything to try to keep this man from winning. They did everything to include trying to kill the man twice. that we know of. Lord knows how many other times that we just don't know about. What are we talking about? Now, as someone that doesn't live too far away from DC, hey, go. If you haven't been, go ride through it yourself and go in there and go experience it for yourself. It is wild in DC. It's wild. But all of a sudden, everybody clutching pearls talking about Epstein. Who cares? My only complaint in reference to the administration about Epstein is the fact that you had Pam Bondi and a few others out there that said that they were going to do something that they didn't do. That is my only complaint that I have in reference to Epstein lists. That is the only complaint that I have, is that they said that they were going to do it and it hadn't happened yet. For one reason or another. Who knows? But the fact that you got Democrats out there, analysts, politicians talking about we need to release the list, when they basically had the White House and control, they had the White House and control of the House of Representatives and the Senate for 2 years during the Biden administration, and crickets from the mainstream media. So miss me with all of that, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. They could have did it already. They could have did it. But now, everything that Trump does, securing the border, fixing the economy, restoring safety to DC, somehow, all of a sudden, it's a cover-up. Come on, yo. Stop it. They really think that the American people are idiots. They think we stupid. I mean, let's be real, man. The Democrats and the media, they don't care about public safety in their blue, red cities. Because if they did, they'd do something about it. Now, they'll get on TV and they'll whine about tourism being down, but it's down because people don't want to risk their lives in places like Chicago, New York, Oakland, San Francisco, DC. Cities gutted by soft on crime policies. And those crime stats that they tout, I mean, come on, worthless. Half the crimes aren't even reported anymore because people know that the cops won't show up. And if they do, nothing's going to happen. And now they're blasting President Trump for not fixing the root problem. Reality check. DC has been run by Democrats forever. DC has been run by Democrats forever. They had decades to fix this. Decades to do something about it. And I would say that they failed, but they didn't. They just chose not to do anything. And when Trump says enough is enough, suddenly it's extreme and dangerous. Council members crying about militarizing the streets. But how can you be mad at someone for making your city safer? And then you get CNN's Dana Bash. She took it to an entirely different level, claiming the most violent moment in DC was J6. Apparently, nothing violent has happened there since. Really, Dana? Really? J6 was the most? Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. These people are ridiculous, man.
Should note that the most violent moment in recent history in D.C. was January 6th. And it was an attack on the United States Capitol by a lot of people who were doing it in the name of Donald Trump. And it included, the people who were hurt included members of law enforcement.
And you wonder why the numbers at CNN are the way they are. Seriously. This, she says, the most violent time in D.C. I mean, these people are outrageous, man.
Right, going right through, there they are.
And our
in Statuary Hall. Now that is the area.
Is that the Walt Whitman camera that's capturing those? I believe.
No.
Whitman statue.
I'm not sure whether that's the Walt Whitman camera, but what that is the area where the senators process to go into House for joint sessions. So it is through there that they walk.
Unbelievable.
Every time they go into the office.
We are
Guys,
televising the breach.
Listen,
by the way.
in order to get to the Capitol, I mean, the Capitol is a free place to go. You are allowed to go to the Capitol. But you got to go through metal detectors. You got to go through security. And when you breach that, you haven't gone through security. And you got to imagine that that is making a lot of the Capitol Police and other folks inside the Capitol right now very, very uncomfortable and very nervous.
Now, I'm not saying that those folks, for J6, going inside the Capitol, some of those folks broke some windows and things of that nature, going into people's office. I'm not condoning that behavior. But dangerous? Really? Dangerous? Really? I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that there. But anyway, like I said, if you talk to actual humans on the ground, real people who live in or around DC or near, they know that the crime is a problem. They want something to be done about it as well. So yeah, I'm with President Trump cracking down on the crime in our nation's capital. The Democrats, they had their time. They chose not to deliver. So it's time to bring in the big guns. Scott Jennings, he said it perfectly. Shout out to Scott Jennings doing what he does best on CNN, whipping liberal lunatics behinds on a day-to-day basis.
That is an appropriate use of those federal resources?
I do, actually. I think it's a disgrace that our nation's capital is crime-ridden. I think it's a disgrace that tourists and visitors come to Washington, D.C. and they don't feel safe. I think it's a disgrace that, roving bands of teenagers are riding, hundreds of dirt bikes around Washington, D.C., shooting guns, shooting off fireworks, and you have these roving bands of carjackers. It's a disgrace. This is our national capital. You shouldn't have to feel that way, whether you live there or whether you're visiting on the streets of Washington, D.C. It's a unique place because it's a federal district. It's not in a state. And I think the president, has rightly decided that something has to be done. It has a very high homicide rate when you compare it to other world capitals. And so I'm anxious to see how far he wants to take this. But frankly, I think for the people who live there and the people who visit there, they're going to welcome extra police presence on the street. That carjacking that happened to the White House staffer the other night, there were a couple of cops sitting there. Had they not been sitting there and witnessed that, I don't know what would have happened to that poor kid. He got beat up by 10 people, a 10-person gang. And so I think the more patrols you have, whether it's park police or whoever, the safer people will feel going around our nation's capital. They exist in a state of lawlessness. I mean, we have blue cities all over this country and blue states that have sanctuary laws where they have encouraged illegal immigration. I mean, that's the problem in California, is that illegal immigration has been welcomed and coddled. And then when you go in and try to enforce federal law, there was, all sorts of unrest and violence and mayhem on the streets. And so that was a situation brought about by the local officials there trying to resist, I think, the enforcement of federal immigration law. In Washington, D.C., everybody who lives there and everybody who visits there on a regular basis knows it's not safe. It is not safe. And there's even discussion in the ranks of the police department there. I think one guy's been put on suspension because they've been downplaying the crime statistics there to try to give people a false sense of security. So I don't think this is political. I think it's about safety. And in the case of California and other blue states, I think it's about the enforcement of federal immigration laws that are on the books. And you have Democrats in those places trying to resist that. I do not understand it.
I don't need this, Scott. And the bottom line is this, man. People want to feel safe in their communities. That shouldn't be controversial. They want to be able to visit the Capitol without worrying about getting jumped by a mob. That shouldn't be controversial. They want to take their kids to events without chaos breaking out. That shouldn't be controversial. And if Republicans can clean up DC, if they can turn it into the safest city in America, that's not just a win for President Trump. It's a win for the country. It's a win for the people that actually live in DC that are afraid to walk out their house on a day-to-day basis because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a win for the country, man. And this is what strong leadership looks like. And it's about time that we set the daggone example, man. I got a couple super chats I want to read real quick. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thank you very much. Shout out to Billy W with the $10 super chat. She says, The mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. Thank you very much, Billy W. You're absolutely right. Shout out to Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels with the $5 super chat. Says Democrats want lawlessness. They should never have power again. No accountability. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right there, Crystal. And thank you very much. Shout out to Megan Leggett. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Or Megan Leggett. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. She says, do they believe there's evidence of Trump being with minors, but they sat on it because they were too busy trying to get him for overinflating his property value for a loan he paid back early? Yeah. Like I said earlier, if there was really data, y'all know that it would have came out 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Come on now. Shout out to Doc Holliday with the $5 super chat. Says, imagine being dumb enough to believe that the Democrats had Epstein dirt on Trump all these years and just sat on it. Exactly. Thank you guys very much for supporting the channel financially. I appreciate that, man. Y'all are absolutely right. But the thing is that they think the American people are stupid. Seriously. They think that we are dumb. We're not. But I'm gonna move on. In other news, I want to talk about the future, or at least what the Democrats think is their future. We're talking about 2028 here, which feels like forever away in politics. But honestly, I mean, the way this year is flying by, it'll be here before you know it. But the left, they're already scrambling to figure out who's going to save them from their 2024 disaster. And stepping into the spotlight is none other than Pete Buttigieg, the former Transportation Secretary who's been busy polishing his image for a presidential run. The guy's got big dreams, man. The guy has big dreams, and he's not shy about it at all. Buttigieg, he popped up on Pod Save America recently and dropped a bombshell that's got conservatives raising an eyebrow. He's praising one of President Trump's 2024 campaign promises, expanding coverage for IVF treatments. Let's get into it. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Now, the reality of it is this, and we're going to get into this Buttigieg interview. We're going to get there. But is America really ready for a first man? Seriously. Is America ready for a first man? Is America ready for the first gay couple in the White House? Is America ready for that? Now, Black Americans, he is polling at 0% with Black Americans. Let that sink in for a second.
Came in promising to do, both Donald Trump and our side promised to do a big infrastructure bill. He broke his promise and didn't do it. We kept our promise and we did do it. I'm not saying that our side, our party, has been perfect, but I think we can point to very specific results that are increasingly affecting your actual everyday life. So we're not just talking about theories. We're talking about whether you actually can access IVF. We're talking about healthcare. A lot of people, and as somebody who was newly self-employed this year, I happen to be one of them recently. A lot of people have healthcare who would not have been able to get it if it weren't for the ACA and Obamacare, right? Like, these are real specific things in your life that are different based on who's in charge. And you are running the risk of losing even more a chance at access to IVF, or for those who are counting on Medicaid, or a whole bunch of protections that are being dismantled around us. Protections from getting screwed by banks that the CFPB put in, that they're getting rid of. We can show that we'll protect you that way because we have. And a whole set of other things. So look, building trust is going to take a generation, I think. And that's just the reality of what our politics have come to. But we're not doing this in a vacuum. Like, we can look at what's actually happened. And what they've actually done is actually cut taxes for the wealthiest people in this country and actually cut services for other Americans in order to pay for it.
Okay, so you seen that, you heard that. So Buttigieg, the golden boy of the progressive elite, is saying that Democrats should steal a page from Trump's playbook and make IVF coverage mandatory through insurance and or government support. He's calling it a good policy and tying it to a pro-family agenda Interesting. He's admitting Trump's on to something with this IVF push, even throwing in a nod to encouraging more kids, something the left usually avoids unless it's wrapped in climate panic. But here's the kicker. Buttigieg's not just praising Trump's idea, he's using it to jab at his party. He's been out there lately calling Democrats out for their finger wagging and an obsession with diversity trainings that look like a Portlandia skit. But he's saying that the party's lost touch with regular voters, and he's not wrong about that because 2024 definitely proved that. It definitely did.
Democratic voters naturally pissed about that. On the other, the party has the lowest favorability rating in like 3 or 4 decades. What do you think that's about?
A lot of things. I mean, one, that's how it feels when you're out of power. Two, I think a sense that the party, especially the party with a capital P, just hasn't been responsive to what's most on voters' minds. And I think now a desire to see us aiming a little higher and being more ambitious in our ideas. And look, we always run the risk of fighting the last war, thinking a little too hard about the last election instead of the next one. I actually think we have an enormous opportunity as a party to get ahead of the issues that are coming our way. You think about something like AI. This is one of the most economically, socially, politically transformative things to hit this country since the founding. And we can learn a lot, especially a lot from things that didn't go quite right in terms of how we handled the arrival of the internet or the arrival of trade and automation that really created a lot of wreckage where I was growing up in Indiana in the 1990s and early 2000s. We can offer something different and better that's a proactive vision instead of what we're seeing from the administration right now, which is basically checking AI to make sure it isn't too woke, whatever that means.
Okay, blame AI. Yeah, so automation is definitely hitting jobs. They're hitting jobs hard. And Gen Z, they're feeling the crunch. They are. But notice Buttigieg offers no real solutions. But then again, Democrats never offer actual solutions. And when he does, they sound like he ripped them from the Republican playbook, pro-family, pro-kids. I mean, this is the Democrats' identity crisis in full view. Are they the working class party they used to claim, the progressive circus pushing pronouns and climate panic and socialism, or just a chaotic mess grabbing at whatever slogan might undo their 2024 humiliation? Buttigieg's betting on the latter, barring GOP talking points while winking at his base. And the irony behind all of this is that his base lives on identity politics. They thrive on moral grandstanding and endless DEI seminars. Yet lately, Pete's been quiet on DEI, knowing most Americans care more about paying bills than intersectional equity. The problem is the blue-haired activists running the party's socials aren't budging. They're too busy canceling each other. Make no mistake, this is a 2028 audition. Buttigieg's in Iowa. He's on podcasts, writing books, dodging smaller races to keep his national shine. Polls say that he's got a shot, though. Hey, he's leading right now in the Democrat polls right now at 16%. Again, he has 0% of black support at this point. I'm surprised that he has as much Hispanic support that he has. I think they said he was polling at like maybe 10 or 11% of Hispanics are rocking with Pete Buttigieg. I'm surprised of that. But this is still the guy who botched the supply chain and ghosted East Palestine after the train disaster. Y'all remember that, right? He's the face. All of a sudden, he considers himself the face of family values. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to work. Democrats, they torched their working class brand with defund the police, open borders, and lectured everybody about privilege. And now Pete's pushing IVF subsidies, which is Trump's idea, as proof that they care again. I mean, it's just a Band-Aid on a broken leg. And for conservatives, this is easy pickings, man. Buttigieg's admitting Trump was right. The only challenge, though, is that delivering on it ourselves. That's the only challenge. And I don't really care that much about IVF, to be honest with you. It's not a concern of mine. I don't know, it may be a concern for you guys. Not a concern for me. But at the end of the day, Pete's still an elite insider, more comfortable at Harvard than he is at the Rust Belt Diner. And if he's the future of the Democrat Party in 2028, man, they're in trouble. They are in trouble. It's probably going to be a rerun of 2024, and we all know how that ends. We all know how it ends. Let me show some love to my folks over here that support the channel financially. Shout out to 402 Wilfred with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. Shout out to Southern Red with the $5 super chat. Says no. A gay president would get zero respect on the world stage. America would be toast. I second that motion. I agree with that, Southern Red. And thank you very much. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to Crystal Beyond Labels with the $10 super chat. Says Pete would bring immorality worse than we've ever seen. It would undo all the progress we made during this administration, and America would be lost. I agree with that as well. I don't think he has a chance, man. Honestly, he doesn't have a chance. I think he knows he doesn't have a chance, but there is a lot of money in running for office, especially running for president. You run for president, you're almost guaranteed to set yourself up to be a multimillionaire, even if you lose. Shout out to Joe, is that Troani? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Says, good works, my friend. Wait, if we go by the Democrats' mindset, you can't be a Republican and think for yourself. Good thing we don't have the leftist mindset. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate that, man. And you're absolutely right there. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I do agree with you, Robert Dalton. He will raise the paper. Again, hey, if you get denied, you're almost guaranteed to be a millionaire, even if you lose. Multi-millionaire. Even if you lose. But I want to move on. And last but not least, I want to talk about this since we're on the subject, we're on this topic here. I want to talk about someone who's been calling it like he sees it when it comes to the Democrat Party. And that would be your favorite, Bill Maher. I know he's not your favorite, but you do got to respect the fact that I got to give it to him, man. He's been calling balls and strikes here lately. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We know that Maher's no conservative hero. We know that. We know that he is still a left-leaning comedian wrapped up in that Hollywood world who's been roasting the right for years on his HBO show. But lately, this guy's been sounding like a broken clock, right? At least twice a day. And he's been hammering the Democrats for their self-inflicted wounds, and he's not holding back. From their obsession with the woke nonsense to their inability to connect with regular Americans, Maher's been sounding the alarm on the left's problems for a little while now. And it's no surprise that he's zeroing in on one of the loudest megaphones, ABC's The View. Now, I know you guys heard the rumors that ABC was going to cancel The View, but it looks like they're on hiatus. It looks like they're not going to be canceled just yet, although they should. I don't think anybody would miss the show if they do cancel it. I don't think anybody would. We may miss it a little bit because they do give us content to discuss because these ladies are just so ridiculous. But Bill Maher, who was on his Club Random podcast this past week, you know, Maher, he dropped the truth bomb while chatting with Drew Barrymore. Now, y'all know Drew Barrymore, she's definitely one of those, you know, highly weird or highly weirdos out there. Afraid of speaking the truth for fear of losing her bag. Y'all know this. There's a lot of them out there like that. But Maher, he took aim at the co-host of The View, Whoopi, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, the rest of them, saying that they're not exactly the best advertisement for women right now. I want you guys to check this out, man. We're going to get into it. Let me share my screen here. Give me a second.
Look,
it's great.
I'm friendly with some of the ladies on The View, and I love them. But like, I would do like that. That shows a lot. And I think I'd
Joy
rather.
came on our show, and
I love Joy.
she literally had the best time. She's like, "What the fuck is going on here? No one comes to stop us. Like, no. I'm like, yeah, it's a playground. Like, it's so chill and fun. I didn't want to do anything tropey or over timed. I wanted to find something different there.
I mean, I love Whoopi and Joe. Those are the two I really know. And I did it like a year ago, and I liked everybody, but like, I don't know if they're really, at this moment, the best advertisement for women. They just, it's
It's a format, that show.
They say some things that are just like not helpful, like say to elections. I mean, it's just,
What is it like?
I'm sure there's some folks that's gonna come for him behind the comment, but I gotta ask you guys, man, in the comment section, in the chat, is he wrong? Is he wrong? Are the ladies of The View a terrible representative of women? I would agree with them, but let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the chat. Is he wrong? And the thing is that Mar's not just throwing shade for clicks. I mean, he's been pointing out what a lot of Americans, especially conservatives, they've been saying this for years. The View has become a circus of, sanctimonious lectures where the hosts push far left talking points that alienate anyone that doesn't live in a coastal bubble. Take Whoopi Goldberg's recent gem, claiming that being black in America is the same as being a woman in Iran. One of the most asinine statements that I've heard in quite some time. I couldn't believe she said that, man. And that's just one of the most recent, stupid takes that she had. I mean, there's a lot more where that came from. You guys know it. And Mar, he ripped into her for that. Ripped into her for it. And rightfully so, calling it stupid woke. And saying that, that's the kind of rhetoric that's torching the Democrats' credibility. And he doubled down, saying at the left, they got to ditch this extreme nonsense that, if they want it, they got to ditch the extreme nonsense if they want to win elections again. Because no one likes to self-censor. And that's what we know is coming with the Democrat parties at the helm. Then Mar goes on to say that it's easier to tell the truth now. It's easier to speak freely under President Trump than it was under Biden. And again, is he wrong? I don't think he is. I don't think he's wrong at all.
It is such a taboo subject, the truth.
it is. Oh, and it gets you hated.
Oh, as soon as I said it, I was like, the truth, that there is no truth. I'm like, that doesn't work. You can't say things like that. But I was putting on you that you speak your truth. And you have a lot of bravado about what you think is the truth or not.
I'm really tired of that, your truth. It's just the truth. That's it. I'm really sick and tired of that.
But it's just so refreshing. Like, you were doing this before it was so dangerous.
Still dangerous.
And it is just way too dangerous now.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it.
It's slightly less dangerous than it was 2 years ago because we did have a vibe change. And because the Democrats lost so badly in 2024, the blush is off the rose on left-wing censorship and, oh my God, you can't say that. Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the fuck off of me. Get back up off of me. That is a lot of just what viscerally is going on with me when I have issues with the left. Just get the fuck off of me. First of all, I don't believe you. You're not better. You're a lot of posers. Not all of you, but just get the fuck off of me.
Well, that's what I like is you call people out from all different areas. And I don't even know how to address parties anymore. Everything is so different now.
Yeah.
But if you are ballsy enough to do those things, what is it that scares you or that you care about?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Cut. I was so riveted by the framing there. I was like, wow.
Now, I think that she meant to say it's harder to lie now. I think that's what she meant to say. And honestly, this kind of clip makes me sad because you can tell that Drew is afraid to say what she actually thinks because she's afraid that she's going to get canceled. It's a real thing over there on the left. But imagine if they just turned it down a notch. Imagine if they were just more relaxed. They could have won, but they can't because they demand blind allegiance to their doctrine. And if you don't abide, you're out the club. And it is slightly less dangerous to speak the truth because Democrats lost so badly in 2024. And if you are not celebrating this win for the truth, not my truth or your truth, just the one and only truth, there is something wrong. Now, Mars, not fully there yet. He's not. He's still a Democrat at heart. And he's not endorsing President Trump anytime soon, nor should we look for him to do so. But he does see the problem. And the lefts, they lost the plot. They're so busy preaching to the choir that they've forgotten how to talk to the rest of America. The View is Exhibit A. That show used to be about different perspectives, or at least that was the goal initially. But now it's just a one-note echo chamber. And in 2025 alone, Fox News reported that they've had 102 liberal guests and 0 conservatives. 0. That's not a talk show. That's a propaganda machine. That's it. The Democrats' problem isn't just a daytime talk show, though. It's their entire brand. They're doubling down on identity politics, woke dogma, and divisive rhetoric while regular Americans are begging for solutions to crime, inflation, and border chaos. Mars warning that the left's stupid woke antics are electoral poison. He's absolutely right. 100% spot on there. But it's not enough just to criticize. The Democrats, they need a complete overhaul, and shows like The View, they're a symptom of a bigger disease, a refusal to listen to anyone outside their bubble. And this ties right back in to what we've been talking about when it comes to Pete Buttigieg. He's trying to pull the Democrats toward the center, but when you've got The View out there comparing America to Iran, it's a losing battle, man. When you got people like Mondani and Omar Fada pushing socialism in their cities, that's a losing battle right there. A lot of voters, they're not buying it. When you got people like Brandon Johnson basically bankrupting his city, losing battle. Right there. Voters aren't buying it. They proved it in 2024. And if the left doesn't wake up, 2028's going to be another bloodbath. Y'all heard it here. Mars sounding the alarm, but the question is, will the Democrats listen, or are they too busy clapping for their own talking points? But for us conservatives, this is a golden opportunity. It's a golden opportunity to keep exposing the left's disconnect, their dysfunction, to keep pushing common sense policies, and let's make sure that The View doesn't speak for America. But I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on it? Dan Moore said, don't even own a television. I hear that. I hear that. We got a couple super chats to read real quick. We got up in here. All righty. Shout out to Jeanette with the $2 super chat. Says, who is the picture behind you? Is it Booker T? Yes, it is. It's Booker T. Washington. Young Booker T. Washington, but it is Booker T. Washington. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Hope you all enjoyed the show today. Shorter show than normal. Well, I guess we're about average. We got to an hour. So on average, we're about an hour, hour and a half. But appreciate you guys pulling it up, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll be back at this thing tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, ARP in the morning. Shout out to all my blues, Zephyr K9, B, Brent Montgomery, shout out to you all. Thank you guys very much for keeping things peaceful in the chat. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Shout out to the new ARP family members. Thank you guys so much for believing in what we're doing over here, supporting this channel financially. I do not take it for granted at all. I do not take it for granted. I'm humbled that you guys support the channel in that way. Really, really appreciate you all, man. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you guys very much. Shout out to everybody that contributes to the show financially. Thank you all very much as well. I really, really appreciate it, man. We're going to get up out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.